in your mind. Fine? Right? Okay. A very good evening, everyone. Today, the poem that we are doing today is poem number 5 from your book, Beehive. Right? And it titles A Legend of the Northland. Legend, what legend stands for? It stands for any historic story that is sung in the history of any country. And Northland is basically the land near the North Pole, where it can be the Greenland, it can be the Alaska, it can be the North Russia or the North Canada. Only the exact place is not given, only they have given the Northland. Right? That means a very cold place it is, where the days are very short and nights are very long. Right? So as we cannot sleep for longer time, usually we sleep for 7 to 8 hours a day, 8 hours a night, and rest of our working hours. And in this poem, so to spend such a long night, what usually we do? We do something to kill the time, right? The longer night doesn't mean that we are going to sleep longer, fine? So to kill the time, parents used to tell the different stories to their kids to make them, to engage them, to make them understand the history of the country, etc. So through these folklores are also the stories which have different characters. So this poem, again, 2 things you are going to learn. First is a legend, and second is a ballad. This poem that we are doing today is a ballad, right? So I just show you what exactly the ballad is. Right, the ballad is basically, you can see it's a ballad. Ballad is a poem narrating a story in short stanzas. So short stanzas here in this poem you have 16 stanzas, and ballads are a part of folk culture or popular culture and are passed on orally from one generation to the next. Or orally ye pass hote, if you go to search the various sources or evidences to prove that it is true or not, then maybe you won't find the exact evidences. So don't go for that. It is just a part of the culture, right? Arabian Nights as you study. So really, India में भी बहुत सारी stories हैं, Chandrakanta kind of है, Panchatantra है. So if we try to find out what evidences are there to prove it, then maybe you will be in trouble. Just listen them, learn the things which have been taught to you through these poems, and then you should reach to the conclusion that there is always a motive behind everything. So now you are going to study A Legend of the Northland. I have already told you what is basically legend and what is Northland, right? So this poem narrates the legend of an old lady who angered Saint Peter because of her greed. So this poem is a legend. एक old lady की story आप पढ़ने वाले हो, who angered means made angry, right? Who made angry Saint Peter. Who was Saint Peter? Saint Peter was apostle of Christ. Apostle of Christ. What is apostle? Apostle is disciple, right? He was the disciple of Christ, who used to live at that time, जो रहा करते थे जब किसी ज़माने में वो इस अर्थ पर रहते थे and preaching किया करते थे. His work was to preach. Preach is to give the religious religious advices to the people. So let's get started, and straight away we are going into the Northland to read this poem. Away in the Northland, where the hours of the day are few. So away means very far away. In the Northland, where the hours of the day are few. Hours of the day are few means days are very short. Days are short, दिन बहुत छोटे होते थे. And the nights are so long in winter, and the nights were long. The nights, the duration of the night was longer. Then that they cannot sleep them through. And they cannot sleep them through means the nights were so long that the whole night could not be spent through sleeping only. You had to stay for some part of the night, as usually you must have seen in winters in our country also. It becomes it gets dark around 6 o'clock or 6:15, but that doesn't mean that we go to bed at 7 o'clock. Hardly it happens with anyone. Max to max, we usually sleep at 10, mostly maybe after that 11, 12, in winters as well. Max to max it will be 10 o'clock, not earlier than that, but duration day night ka is too long. So how they in the Northland, when it is a general phenomena that nights are longer and days are short, where they harness the swift reindeer. Where is the Northland? They are talking about नॉर्थलैंड, जिस लैंड का आप ये स्टोरी पढ़ रहे हो, उस बताते कि उस नॉर्थलैंड में दे हार्नेस, हार्नेस मींस एनिमल्स हुए एनी, और उसके नेक पर कुछ लगाना, राइट, वो कुछ स्ट्रैप टाइप काइंड ऑफ, एंड फिर उसको किसी भी स्लेज के साथ अटैच कर देना, एंड दे वुड बी पुलिंग इट. तो दैट इज कॉल्ड हार्नेसिंग. Right, they harness the swift reindeer. Swift is very fast. Reindeer is the animal, you know, which are found in the snow, and who used to, जो आपने उनके साथ भी देखे होंगे सेंटा क्लॉज के साथ, right, उनके reindeers होते हैं, who used to pull his sledge. So where they harness the swift reindeer to the sledges. Sledges पे उनको harness करते हैं, tie and pull. Literally it means tie and pull. Right, swift reindeer खींचते हैं sledges को when it snows, when it starts snowing, जब bad snow होने लगता है, right, snowfall starts, and the children look like bears cubs because it is a very cold place. So children have to wear warm clothes as usually we do ना. हम लोग कैसे पहनते हैं कपड़े विंटर्स में, बहुत सारे jackets and all, and so but only the jackets are not enough at that place. So children used to wear funny and furry clothes. Funny means they look very, you इस type से, you know, पूरा cover करके faces पर, and इस type से पूरे they look like भालू kind of. So furry funny clothes कहते हैं, and they look like bears cubs. और वो बिल्कुल bear के babies जैसे they look like, the kids look like the babies of the bear. They tell them a curious story. So this is clear, where we are talking about a land where sledges are pulled by swift, very quick reindeers when the snow starts falling, and the children have to wear such funny and furry clothes, funny looking and made of fur to keep them warm. Then they used to wear such clothes that they look like bears' cubs. They look like the kids of the bear. Is it clear? Is it clear to everyone? Say yes at least. No voice is coming. Write in the chat box. You people can write so much in the chat box, but you can't say anything, huh? Just start saying yes, yes, we are getting it. Please let me know that you are getting the things. सबने yes लिख देंगे chat box पर. Okay. They tell them a curious story. और वो सुनाते हैं उनको बहुत ही curious story. Curious story, you know. Curious means full of curiosity, right? When the children get to know, yes, it is very, what is happening next? What is happening after that? So many, you know, 32 yeses I can see in the chat box, but not even a single sound. Okay, that does not matter. You are getting, that's a good thing. So they tell them a curious story. Curious means full of curiosity, that raises curiosity in the listener, and that is always the success mantra of writing a story, that curiosity level should be maintained, right? So they tell them curious stories which use to make them curious kids, the stories. I don't believe it is true. But the poet says, you know, if, what's the name? What is the name of the poet, you know? That will be given at the last. But you should know at least. What is the name? Phebe Cary. The name is Phebe Cary. याद रखिएगा, always remember that. The poet is Phebe Cary. So a curious story. I don't believe it is true. Phoebe Carey says, Carey है यहाँ पर. Carey says, I don't believe the story that I'm going to share it with you is true. I don't rely on this. And yet you may learn a lesson if I tell the tale to you. But I would like to share it with you because I want the moral that has been imparted through this poem should reach you. And I'll tell the tale to you. Tale is the story. Story मैं आपके साथ share कर रही हूँ, and you can learn a lesson from it. You can learn a moral through this poem, right? Once, when the good Saint Peter lived in the world below, then she says कि जब good Saint Peter थे, इस दुनिया में रहते थे. Good Saint Peter lived in the world. Saint Peter, I had already told you, he was the disciple of Christ, right? You should remember that also. Disciple of Christ थे, right? Lived in the world below, ये दुनिया में, इस दुनिया में रहते थे, and walked about it. And walked about it means he used to move around, who used to roam around, preaching. Preaching means giving religious lessons to the people, right? Preaching is religious teachings दिया करते थे लोगों को. Just as he did, you know, जैसा कि वो करते थे, आपको पता ही है, right? Poet is expecting that you people know. You people know it. You know because I'm telling you that he was the disciple of Christ, and उनका जो motive था to live in this world was to spread the religion of Christianity everywhere. So he was a very nice saint. He was a very kind-hearted saint, and he lived in this world and roamed around to teach people about the religion and good things to do in life. So just as he did, you know, he came to the door of a cottage. और वो कहाँ पर आए? एक कॉटेज के डोर पर. In traveling around the earth, where a little woman was making cakes. So while roaming around, he reached to the door of a cottage. Cottage, you know, small house. एक छोटे से घर के पास वो पहुंचते हैं. He reached there, and it was very cold, you know. In traveling around the earth while roaming around, where a little woman was making cakes, where a very short-heighted woman, she was making cakes and baking them on the hearth. Baking them on the hearth, hearth is like furnace, right? Furnace में यहाँ ऊपर it is burning, it burns, and नीचे cake जो है वो bake होते हैं. So she was making them, bake कर रही थी उन cakes को in the hearth, and cakes are a part and parcel of that life. And being faint with fasting, faint is getting unconscious. Getting unconscious. Who was getting unconscious? Saint Peter, with fasting, because he must have kept fast or something he would be doing. तो उनका fast था और वो बहुत ज़्यादा faint हो रहे थे उससे. और the other meaning can be कि he had not eaten anything for a very long time. There can be two meanings for that. Maybe it was his fast, or maybe he had not eaten anything for a long time. For the day was almost done, क्योंकि day almost done means day had passed, and he had not eaten anything. He asked her. So the saint came to that lady and asked her, it means requested her from a store of cakes, because she had a lot of cakes, to give him a single one. He asked because he saints होते हैं ना, they had a very little appetite. With a very little thing, little food, they become satisfied. They are not very greedy kind of people. So he just begged that lady कि आप मुझे सिर्फ एक single cake you should give me, right? And he just asked for that single piece of cake. So she made a very little cake. And now you will come to know about the nature of that lady, that she made a very little cake. उसने क्या किया? एक छोटा सा केक बनाया. Very little cake she made. And but as it baking lay, and when she was उसको roll किया, prepare किया, and उसको baking hearth में रखा, she looked at it. उसने देखा, looked at that cake and thought, और उसने ये सोचा, though it must have not been reality, thought it seemed too large to give away. That when you are giving something, usually we give some coin or something. We don't give away a lot of money. Usually when it comes to charity, we become really very miser kind of people. And that lady was greedy also, and she thought, why should I give such a big cake to a person who is begging for it? I should not do that. So she thought that it is a very large cake. Therefore, she needed another. Needed is to make dough with flour, right? Make dough with flour. So उसने एक और नीट किया केक एंड स्टिल अ स्मॉलर वन, और अभी वन और स्मॉल जो लास्ट बनाया था उससे भी छोटा शी मेड, बट इट लुक्ड व्हेन शी टर्न्ड इट ओवर एज लार्ज एज द फर्स्ट हैड डन. सो जैसे उसने इसको देखा, व्हेन शी लुक्ड एट द केक एंड शी टर्न्ड इट ओवर, अदर साइड से रोस्ट किया, एज लार्ज बेक किया, एज लार्ज एज द फर्स्ट हैड डन. So the size of the cake that came out was as large as the first one. Then she again got the thought came to her mind, why should I give that one such a big cake to a saint? Then she took a tiny scrap of dough. Now what she did, she took a very tiny scrap. Tiny scrap means very small quantity. Very small quantity of dough उसने लिया. And rolled it flat. खूब रोल करके उसको बिल्कुल फ्लैट कर दिया एंड बेक्ड इट थिन एज अ वेफर. और वेफर जैसा पतला, जैसे वेफर आप लोग आइसक्रीम कोन लेते हो ना, जो वेफर होता है उतना थिन उसने उसको बेक किया. बट शी कुडंट पार्ट विद दैट. बट इट शोज दैट द लेवल ऑफ हर ग्रीड वाज सो मच दैट शी कुडंट बेयर इट टू गिव इट अवे इवन दिस मच. It was such a small cake that was baked, but she couldn't part with that. It shows the level of greed, right? Level of greed and how unkind that lady was, that she couldn't part. She couldn't donate even the small, the thinnest of the cake that was not more thick than a wafer. Then it shows that the lady, what the lady deserves. Then what she said, and then she answered to the saint, my cakes that seem too small when I eat of them myself. Then her answer was very diplomatic answer she gave, कि मेरे cakes जो है seem too small, बहुत छोटे लगते हैं when I eat two of them myself. जब अपने आप खाती तो लगता है इतनी जल्दी finish हो गया, so it seems to me very small. So she put them and are yet too large to give away. But when it comes to give to you, or it comes for the charity purpose or for the donation purpose, then they seem too large. So she put them on the shelf. So she didn't give them away. She put them on the shelf and didn't give it away. Then good Saint Peter grew angry. You know, there are certain limits. These good people can tolerate the things. Then we always avoid to make them angry. And this is what that lady did. She crossed all the limits, and now Saint Peter grew angry. He lost his temper and he couldn't control his anger. And he thought that I'm here on this earth to teach the people to be kind and generous. But this lady is just opposite to that. When she is not able to give away a very thin cake to someone who is at her gate begging for the cake and who is very hungry, then what does this lady deserve? So he became irritated and he got angry. He said, for he was hungry and faint, and he was just very hungry and he was almost fainting. Saint Peter was getting fainted, getting unconscious because he had not eaten anything for the entire day. And surely such a woman was enough to provoke a saint. And ye sure tha ki such a woman like her was enough to provoke a saint. Provoke means make angry. ऐसे lady saint को provoke करने के लिए was enough. Now she had crossed all her limits, and saint had lost all his patience. And he said, he is the saint, he said, you are far too selfish to dwell in a human form. Too selfish means you are very self-centered, you are very selfish, and you don't, humans का जो biggest quality है, that is humanity, right? Humanity means charity, to show charity, to being generous, to show generosity, kind-hearted, sharing other people's sorrows, and just console them while they are in, in a very distorted mind of state of mind. Hai. So humans have this, deserve this, or they should have this quality in them that they are becoming partner of the sorrows of others, at least just to relax them. And if you can't do that, then definitely you don't deserve to be a human being. Then he said, and here is he's also pointing out his selflessness is the basic quality of any human. Are selfish. So to dwell means to live. So you don't deserve to live as a human being on this earth, to have both food and shelter, and you don't deserve that you should have food, you should be provided with a good cozy home, you don't deserve that. And fire, even you have fire at home to keep you warm. So you don't deserve all these five things: the human body, the food, the comfortable home, the fire to keep you warm, and the warmth that you receive at your home. You don't deserve all this, right? So he said that these are the basic facilities, or facilities, we can say, which are provided to human being, and you are just taking undue advantage of all these things, and you are not helping others, because the best outcome that a woman or a human should part with other siblings or other partners on this earth is that just to be kind enough. So you are not doing that, so you don't deserve this, right? Now you should build as the birds do. So now he is giving the curse to him. He is giving a curse. You shall build as the birds do. So अब आपको कौन सा form वो देंगे कि birds. Saint Peter says, now you will be converted into a bird, and you will build a home for yourself, shall get you scanty food. Scanty means very little, and very little food you will get by boring and boring and boring. और तुम बोर करते रहोगे, only you will be boring. Boring is making holes, right? It means making holes in something hard. So what you will be doing, you will be just boring and boring and boring. All day in the hard dry wood. Whole of your day will be spent in the hard and dry wood. The wood that is very dry. So you will be boring in that. And then up she went through the chimney. And then she went through the chimney. Then she was converted into a woodpecker, And from her home, the chimney that was there in her home, she went through that. She was immediately taken away the form of human, and she was converted into a bird. Through the chimney that was there on the hearth, that was on the furnace, she just went through that, never speaking a word. And she could not speak a word there. And out of the top flew a woodpecker. And from the top of the chimney, यहाँ से कौन निकल कर आई? एक woodpecker. For she was changed to a bird because she had been converted into a bird, right? She had been converted into a bird. She had a scarlet cap on her head. और उसके सर पर क्या है? एक scarlet. Scarlet is a deep red color. अगर आपने woodpecker देखा हो, तो you can understand that. You can see that, or you can believe that it's a deep red color. Ka ek sar par a hat kind of. She had a scarlet cap on her head. When she was cursed by Saint Peter, she was wearing a red color cap. And when she flew away from the chimney, all her clothes were burnt. She was completely converted into a black colored bird. But she had a deep color, एक red, deep red color का cap उनके सर पर होता है woodpeckers के, and that was left the same, and it remained there. But all the rest of her clothes were burnt. लेकिन बाकी सारे जो clothes थे वो, they just burnt out, black as a coal in the flame. because she went through the chimney from which the smoke used to come out. So she was converted into a black colored bird. And every country schoolboy, country is rural areas, और रूरल एरियाज में जितने भी बच्चे रहते हैं have seen her in the wood, they have seen her in the wood. Wood is the jungle. तो जंगल में उन्होंने देखा होगा. Dry jungle, she was cursed to live in a dry jungle, if you remember. So she was just living there in the jungle where she lives in the trees till this very day. और ये कहा जाता है आज भी वो उन्हीं जंगलों में रहती है, boring and boring for food, and she keeps on boring for food. Right? Is it clear? And she keeps on boring. And tree में आपने देखा होगा अगर इस टाइप का ट्री होता है, ट्री में एक रूम बनाती है, वुड पैकर उसमें पैक करती रहती है, इस टाइप से वो होल बना के she used to and live and has a very little food. Right? Right? Phoebe Carey is the poet. And you can ask any line that is not understood. Fine. Now what we will do, we will find the literary devices used in this poem. This is very important that you should understand that also, which figures of speech have been used here. So we just start with stanza number 1. First of all, as we always do, we will find the rhyming scheme first. सबसे पहले आप rhyming scheme देखोगे. The same rhyming scheme has been followed in all the stanzas. बताइए कौन सी rhyming scheme है? Which rhyming scheme is there? For Northland, let me rub all these word meanings. I guess you must have noted down. Let's find out the various figures of speeches used in this poem. First one. Figure of speech, we are saying Northland. Let's assume it is standing for A. Few is not rhyming, it is B. Winter is also not rhyming, C. But few is rhyming with through, so it will be B. Next one, if you see, because this is all, they are all stanzas of 4 lines each. 4 into 16 stanzas are there. And through the various stanzas, a story has been told. And this form of poem is called a ballad. This is a ballad. And if you are asked this question, why a legend of the Northland is called a ballad, you should have this answer, right? And reindeer A, snows B, cups C, and clothes and snows again are rhyming. Again, the rhyming scheme, the same rhyming scheme has been followed in all 16 stanzas. It is A, B, C, B. Is it clear? A, B, C, B, you can see in the next also, story A, true B, lesson C, and true and you again are rhyming, it is B. Fine. Now, we will see which figures of speech. 5 figures of speech have been used in this poem. First of all, let me tell you which figures of speech are there. Alliteration is there. First, second, repetition is there. Simile is there. Anaphora is there. And 5th one is enjambment is there. Right? So enjambment is there. Now one after another, first of all, we'll find the examples of alliteration in this poem. Which are the examples of alliteration? Stanza 1. Just note down them all very carefully, right? I'm just rubbing all the word meanings here, and I'll be only underlining the examples of figures of speech, various literary devices, figures of speech. First stanza first. Where is the alliteration? See, you can see that, they, them, through. TH sound is repeating. This is the example of alliteration. Alliteration is what is I'll also give you a recap of all these 5 literary devices. Alliteration, when consonant sound is repeated. Repetition, when the same word or phrases are repeated. Simile, when comparison is made with like so as. Anaphora, when the consecutive lines are starting with the same words. And enjambment, when a sentence is divided into various short sentences without punctuation mark. Right? These are the 5 figures of speech or literary devices used in this rhyming scheme we have already found out. And that is A, B, C, B. Now we will continue with finding the examples of various alliteration. Now, number 2, they, the, right? Then look, like, funny, furry. All these examples of, here you can see the sound is repeating. TH, the, sorry, not THE. It's the sound is repeating. Again, I have the habit of writing it like that. So, the. Then here, L sound is repeating. Here, F sound is repeating. So, consonants are repeating. Next one, stanza number 3. They tell them. Right, so tell is not rhyming. See, what is the difference? They tell them. T nahi loge. The is repeating they them. If you will underline like tell, then it will be a wrong example. Consonant sound should be there. So they them. Here again, learn, listen. La sound again. Right, tell you won't underline. I'm again telling. The sound, here la sound is repeating, then tell, the sound is repeating, and yet you, ya sound is repeating. With every syllable, I'm telling you the consonants which are repeated. Fine. Next, number 5, number 4, nothing is there. Number 5, you can see woman, was. W sound is repeating. Then them, the, and the hearth. Them on the hearth. The sound is repeating. Next one, number 6. Faint with fasting. Faint with fasting. F sound is repeating. Number 8. Therefore, she needed another. You can see that. Still smaller, right? Still smaller is there. You can see that. Then number 9. I'm rubbing them all these underlines so that it will make you understand the better the various literary devices used here. I hope you must have noted down all the meanings while I was explaining that, right? This also I'll be rubbing. We will be leaving just the literary devices left in this, right? Then number 9, then she took a tiny scrap. Took, tiny, T sound is repeating, right? Then therefore smaller one, we did that now. See, still a smaller one. Then number 10, you can see what is there in number 10. It's not moving. Oh my God. Wait. I'll be sharing one more time because it has stopped moving. Sometimes it happens, we get disconnected. So number 10, you can see that. And for she said, my cakes that seem too helpless. Seem too helpless, cakes. S sound is repeating, seem too small. Cake seems small, S sound is repeating, right? Then number 13, you can see on number 13, Now you shall this one. Again, I will be rubbing all this first. Here the literary devices. Build as the birds. B sound is repeating, right? By boring. You won't go further boring, boring because it is repetition. Only in by boring, the alliteration is there, right? And then these are all the these were all the examples of alliteration. Now we will go to simile first. Simile देखते हैं कहाँ पर है? Stanza number 2 में look like bear's cubs. I will be circling the example of simile. Look like bear's cubs. Fine. And then in stanza number 9, then she took a tiny step. See, thin as a wafer. Thin as a wafer. Like so ऐसे comparison है. So simile, here it is simile. Fine. And then black as coal. She had a scarlet cap. She had a scarlet cap, you can see, and black as a coal. Here, it is again simile. Is it clear? Now the next is the repetition. Where are two anaphora is there only in one. Two is repeating this word. You can see that. In stanza number 12, we can see here. 2 is anaphora, right? And then the easiest one was how to identify the repetition. The same words are repeating, and then it is boring, boring, boring. You must be remembering boring, boring, boring. Repeat ho raha tha, right? It was here, I guess. Right here, boring, boring, boring. The same words are repeating. This is repetition. Fine. And then enjambment, where no punctuation words are. I'm just giving you one example. See, first one, 2, 3 are there. Away in the Northland, where the hours of the day are few and the nights are so long in winter that they cannot sleep them through. This is one line, right? And the nights are so long in winter, but if you clearly see, then there is no punctuation mark in line number 3 and 4. This is called enjambment. And you will find out more examples for enjambment in this poem. And then you will tell me in the next class which were the examples of enjambment. So this kind, they should be there with you. Fine. So many are there. If you read them, see almost all third, fourth line. Second also you can see, and the children look like bear's cubs. You can see that also, that it is bear's cubs in their funny clothes. Again, no punctuation mark is there. In almost every stanzas, third and fourth line. Not all. In first 3 stanzas, second, third and fourth line is not having any punctuation mark. See number 3 also, and yet you will learn a lesson if I tell the tale to you. Again, no punctuation mark, so it is enjambment. So enjambment, I'm just changing the color of my pencil so that you can see that in examples of enjambment, these two. These are enjambment. Fine, is it clear? Is it clear to everyone? And then you will see it further in the other stanza also. You can see that again in this stanza one more time in the next page. On the next page, this is again example of enjambment. Not all, you will have to see carefully. Again, these 3 and 4 enjambment के examples हैं ये हमारे. Fine. And these 2 also, these are all enjambment. Is it clear? The poem is understood. Raise your hands, those who have understood the poem clearly, all the literary devices, all the word meanings. So many continuously. That's great. Almost the whole batch is raising the hand, and I hope you must have enjoyed also this poem. Story bhi thi, poem bhi thi, mazedar thi, right? And I'll be giving as one DPP in your homework, right?